Welcome back to the Purple Pants Podcast. Real
Welcome back
Housewives.
to you, Brice. Good to
Hello.
see
It's good to be seen.
you.
We are here giving you the Purple Pants Podcast recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8, Episode 6. I am joined by the multi-talented
Hyphenated
degree,
for-house honing. Oh, for-house owning. Okay.
four
Four
houses,
homes.
multiple
Four
degrees,
homes.
one
Multiple
husband,
degrees.
two
Right.
kids.
Right. Not twins, though.
Not twins, two kids, and a Christian praying mother
Yes.
having.
God-fearing non-Nigerian woman.
Okay. Shout out to your mom, Per Stephanie. That's my girl. Welcome back. We are here talking all things Real Housewives of Potomac. How are you doing, Jatia? It is good to see you.
I'm good. Got a little injury, but I'm here for the posse. And of course, watched Potomac, and it was juicy. There were a lot of moments still in Austin, down in Texas, where it's weird. So I'm ready to get into it. What did you think?
So, I mean, I thought the episode was interesting. I thought, again, like Bravo always does, save the best for the last 6 seconds. But I also thought we got to see a lot of different things. But before we even get into the episode, I just want to shout out to the comments of last week. I mean,
Oh, yes.
the
So I
comments
love it. Yes. I love
and
it
the
when people
YouTube.
comment. I love it where we had a whole dissertation about what we don't know. I think it was an African American studies class in the comments last week.
It
So
definitely was. And so I just want to say there's a blanket statement that, like, we don't know these ladies personally, right? Like, I've never met, well, actually, I have met the Grand Dame, and she actually was really, really nice. So I don't, like, our hot takes are of this show, right? Like, and it's a reality show. So this is our hot takes on what we are seeing from the edited version of the show. I don't know these women,
yes, and
but
we understand about the editing. Like we understand about being brought down to a one-dimensional character, but we just taking it light. Taking it light,
Trust us,
people.
we know a thing or two about it. Okay. So we get it. But also, as a fan of the show, I have hot takes, right? Like, and I want to like Wendy, but I feel like there are some things about her that, like, I love and that I don't love. I love to love me some Candace, but I'm gonna call Candace when I see some kid. Like, I don't always agree with Giselle and Robyn. I don't agree with Ashley. Like, so it's like
So this
my
is the thing. I can say good things and bad things about each and every one of them. Like, I am not a huge Giselle fan, but
uh,
Giselle is beautiful. I love the interactions with her new relationship and her daughters. I can say good and bad things about everybody. Wendy, I really identify with, as having being a multiple degree lady. So I love them all. It's just like, your friends. You like them, but sometimes they get on your nerves, right, Brice?
right.
We all know about that, right?
Oh, Jitsia, do I know a thing or two?
Yes. So yes, but thank you. Keep commenting. We love it. We read them all.
We do. So but again, some people be like, you don't want to like her. Be like, no. I mean,
I felt it through the fingertips. I felt it through the fingertips, and I love it. I love that they are passionate. Look, you got to be passionate. Like, what is, if you're not passionate, what's, got to get them juices flowing, honey. And they did, all of us. So
yes.
we see you,
And
people. We hear you.
we hear and see you. So, I mean, the episode picks right back up where it left off at this lunch or cocktails at the pool. And again, it is
Cockies at the
about
pool. Yes.
Necca's in-laws, Lebe. She was at, Wendy's sippancy. And so it's like, Wendy, do you know her? Do you not know her? Wendy again is doubling down, saying that that's her sister's friend. Well, I think two things can be true, right? I think she can be your sister's friend, and you also could know her. And I think that it, like, literally leaves a lot of the ladies confused, because it's like Wendy really went so hard to say, like, I don't know who she is, and really trying to, like, poke holes in NECA's story, when it seems like NECA is providing the receipts, providing the things to essentially say that, like, we do know each other. It
Yes.
is important.
And also, Bravo is providing the receipts because, here we go with unseen footage of, again, Lebe being called out at, Wendy's child's baby shower as a role model that she wants her daughter to be like. That don't sound like somebody you don't know. So
Right.
basically, she's dead in the water. She has lost this argument by this point in time. And what did she decide to do to up the stakes and call out NECA for being a crackhead? Which I'm like, girl, you ain't got nothing else to say. We done went to the crackhead. Now we just skipping to the crack. She has no crack receipts, as they, they asked her for the crack receipts. I was very disappointed that nobody pulled out Miss Whitney's line and said crack is whack. It was a missed opportunity.
It's cheap.
Crack is whack. Crack is cheap. Okay. And this was just like you said, deflection 101.
Absolutely. And then
Wendy is pulling anything out of pocket. You have to stop talking about and getting the energy off of her. And she's lost this argument.
And so after last week's episode, Wendy took to Twitter and basically was saying, like, I'm tired of this narrative about my family, and essentially provided edited screenshots of text messages from Lebe to Wendy, essentially trying to say that Lebe was trying to get free BBLs off of Wendy's name, and essentially saying that, like, Lebe was reaching out to Wendy saying producers were interested in NECA and NECA would like to go to lunch with you. Now, Wendy very conveniently only posted like these screenshots that appeared that made it seem like Wendy just never responded or left Lebe on red. But then Lebe came with the rest of the conversations that because Wendy's trying to make it seem like they're just clout chasing. But in Wendy's response, it's like, okay, boo, I'll see what I could do. I got you. Like, when and where can we meet? Like, it's like, if you crop those messages and it makes it look like you left them on red, it's like, oh, wait a minute. They are kind of like, giving you, using you. But in your responses, it's like, okay, y'all are friends. And then it's like, again, I really felt like Wendy was like, oh, I'm going to show these text messages to the world and they going to see. In my opinion, it only one confirms if that's not your friend, why she got your number, why she texting you, hey, beautiful, hey, boo. Like, it just,
and why
it's
you
a lot of smoke and
responded
mirrors.
in kind, and it ain't the response saying, who is this? Who number? New number, who this? It wasn't like, because that's how I talk to when people I don't know text me, like, So I think she was trying to play NECA and she felt some kind of way. I think you're right. For me, this fight is over and she has lost. Like me, the ladies are also ready to move on to this to a different topic, right? Because they are sipping their cockies, they're by the pool, it's beautiful in Austin. And so the Grand Dame decides it's time for a record scratch and to get to partying.
And get
so everybody else. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Before we leave, Candace pulls NECA to the side and is like, how are you okay with this? I could tell by the way that you were talking, it seemed like you had a lot of passion in your voice. And in Candace's confessional, she's like, I know what all of this could seem like, and I just want to make sure that she's good. Record scratch. Wendy walks over and says, hey, I appreciate it if you don't talk about me with her. Now, wait a minute. Are we putting limitations on who and when?
For me, I felt like, Wendy tried to Will Smith, Candace, like, keep your name out of my mouth when it comes to NECA, which, I mean, get the hell out of there. I mean, like, you ain't gonna tell me who I can and can't talk to and what we can't talk about, which is another issue that gets raised later in the episode is, about having a list of topics that we can and can't talk about. So I think that was poor, another poor move on Wendy's part to tell her friend on camera not to talk to me. I was like, we could not talk about you at all, or you could be off the show.
Well, I mean, again, I think it leads more to the topic that we were talking about with the housewives, right? Like, it's like if no one wants to film with you and you only film with the same people, your storyline gets a little stale. And so if Candace is reaching out across the board to NECA and they're talking and maybe they're building a friendship, it kind of only validates NECA's persona on the show. So Wendy being like, hey, Now, here's the thing for all you people that say I don't be liking Wendy. Although I don't like it, I kind of agree with Wendy a little bit. Like, I would do the same thing to my friend if, I mean, I wouldn't do it on camera, but I would definitely text you here, like, don't be talking to her about me. Thanks on camera. But it's like, I get that, right? Like, if I'm arguing with somebody, like, no, we good over here. But so it's like, I can see what Wendy is saying, but you just also have to be aware that doesn't come off well. It comes off
Right,
very much.
exactly. And you already just lost the argument. You called the girl a crackhead and, all this other kind of stuff. So she needed to slow her roll at that point in time.
I
Anyway,
mean,
the part
yeah.
that I liked most about this exchange is when they, of course, started drinking and dancing, which I love. I love to see them all have a good time. And then we announce that it's dinner time. So everybody is going to do an outfit change. Everybody gets in the cars. They divide up the cars, not by, astrology signs this time. I think everybody gets to pick what car they're in. They all look fabulous. This is where they have on the cowboy outfits. And they go to dinner or whatever. They have on cute little outfits. I think Mia has on this cute, really cute pink crop top and the pants.
Yes,
And they
yes, yes,
all go to
yes.
dinner. Ashley has her girls out everywhere, all at once, every place, every time, all at once, whatever that movie is. That's how her titties are. They all out like that. And they go to a very cool restaurant in the car. They have split up, and they're talking about what happened, of course, at the pool. Did you find anything interesting about these conversations and how the cars were split?
I found it how the conversations were bubbling in the car, right? Because I feel like it. I mean, it was interesting, but again, it was still Kansas, Robyn, Mia, and Wendy, and it seemed like Robyn and Candace were engaging in conversations.
Yes. At first you hear, but I think that was a little one-sided because when they were in the car, you hear the confessional and Robyn is like, how the hell did I get in this car?
Right.
And it's very funny because Candace thinks they're all right. They just having a normal conversation. It's very like one-sided. So
Robyn
I
is
thought that
keeping it
was very
cute.
interesting because that comes
Right.
up a couple of times.
Oh, it
That
comes up, right, a lot. And so we get to dinner, and again, these are one of my more funner moments of Potomac. When all the ladies are together and everybody's having a cocktail, especially Karen, they're ordering these pictures of margaritas. And I love just how the conversation seems to be open. I don't know how we get on talking about if you spit or swallow, but it is a funny conversation because it seems that everyone has a take on it, right? Robyn raising her hand and say, me, I do, that's my man, I do it. Now, mind you, all the ladies in their confessionals being like, girl, you don't know what you drinking. I would like, I was like, why they doing my girl Robyn like that?
I think that was the Grand Dame who said that actually, and I was a little shocked. This was a little bit of a shocking conversation, and I loved it. I was there for it. So I was interested to hear their takes. It sounds like a conversation that me and my girlfriends and boyfriends would have about, what they do. I thought it was very interesting. You know what I want to ask you?
What is that?
You know,
I
you have to
don't,
answer the question.
what question would you like to ask?
The question that was asked at the table. You watched the episode.
Well, well, yes, I do want children like NECA. I don't know if I really want twins like NECA. I think
That's funny.
one
That
and
was
done would be
funny.
good for me.
Good dodge. I love it. I just thought the whole line was interesting, and like from the Grand Dame being like she don't even touch penis, like ew penis, to
The
Robyn
flash.
being like I spit, I swallow, I hold it
Ah,
in my mouth, and
ah.
then wait 30 minutes and then spit it out, which I thought was the most shocking thing. You gonna wait 30 minutes with it in your mouth?
That was Ashley, yeah. But then I love how they rewound it 3 years ago to when they were trying to explain to the Grand Dame what teabagging is. And Karen seemed to be okay with that. Also, it then came a shocker that Candace is like, well, I'm not doing that, but I wouldn't mind a golden shower.
Yeah,
So it's like,
I was like, that's a big
oh,
jump. That's a big jump. She was like, and you do it in the shower. And I could see if she said she was the one showering somebody, but no, oh goodness. I was like, ooh, wow. I loved every second of it.
Yeah, and again,
I loved it.
I just loved the interactions. Like it seemed like Giselle and Candace were somewhat interacting. I just loved how it just kind of opened up the table a little bit because we know that the tensions with these ladies have been really, really high. During that dinner, again, I thought was an interesting point was Nneka brought up how, she wants to get pregnant. She's been having some issues and she's been enjoying somewhat of this trip with the ladies because it seems to take the stress off of her about having children. And she says that she wants to have twins and be done and boy girl happy. And again, Candace reaches across the aisle and is sharing similar situations with Nneka, and they're having this bonding moment, and I'm just like, like
Yes, I thought
I
that was
like
very
this Nneka and
interesting.
Candace.
Yes, so that's the second time this episode that Candace is, throwing her a little, life preserver and bringing her on into the group. So I thought that was good. I loved that nobody was holding back their thoughts about in this conversation, even though the topic was, sort of inappropriate. Whatever, they grown women. Everybody is, having sex. Most of them are married or have been married or have children. So, ain't no virgins at the table. Let's be honest. So I just thought it was a very interesting and candid conversation. And then that led to Nneka sharing and Candace sharing. And it was really nice because a lot of times we see that some people in the group don't want to share because they don't want to put their business out there. But even Giselle before has said, she hasn't wanted to share with the group, and she was sharing. So it was a really lovely moment brought to you by alcohol, which, this is why they send them on these trips and they give them drinks because it helps loosen them up. So loose that they head on back to the to
Robyn's room.
Robyn's room, right? This is the after party, right? And we have seen or the after party. So we have seen in previous seasons when even people who are actively fighting, when they get going and it's time for the after party, they put all of their beefs aside. And sometimes they pull out their beef. Because remember, Wendy.
Oh, I remember was showing her hootie ha 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 to Mia. And seeing this group together made me realize, like, I love when Mia, Candace, Wendy, and Robyn get together. They're like the younger ladies of the crew. And I think they were in Miami after all that drama in Miami with Mia and Wendy. Like, they all were saying, like, after the after show, it's the after party, and they have a great time. And it was interesting because the ladies all got back. Giselle was like, I'm out. The Grand Dame was like, I'm gonna see y'all later. Ashley was like, I gotta go. And it kind of was like with them and Nneka. And so again, I was like, wow, like look at Wendy and Nneka kind of being in this similar situation. No issues happening. They opening the champagne. Candace wanted to take her shoes off, and she like, whose slippers are these? Girls, who room are you in? You know whose slippers they are. And of course, Robyn is like, they're mine, take them. Now, Robyn in the confessional is like, 2 weeks ago, I'm a fraud. But now you got your feet in my slippers. But I loved it. And so it seemed like they were just having a fun night. And I think it was Nneka and Robyn left. And then Candace is like, I'm going to go. I'll see you later. And then Robyn or Candace says to Robyn, I'll see you guys tomorrow and maybe we should talk. Yeah, you think, right? Like, yes, we need to talk.
When you bring back my slippers, we can talk.
Candace is like, I don't like being in this place with Robyn, right? Like, we have more fun than when we are fighting. And Candace seems to stay on this point as to she don't know why Robyn got an attitude with her.
Well, it's very apparent. And I mean, I didn't understand why she would even say that. Because she clearly has, selective memory because she was just going. I mean, and then she expects her to be her friend. I think Robyn is such the bigger person in this because even though she is at odds with Candace, she can still push through, let her borrow her slippers, that kind of stuff. She's never going to be petty about it. So I love that about Robyn. Robyn got like super points for me and props for just being the bigger person in this situation. She let go of the slippers. She couldn't be like, hell no, you can't have my slippers, which I feel like Candace would have. Or Candace would have, pointed a fork at her and told her to leave her room, or knife, whatever she pointed at Ashley back a couple seasons ago. So Then everybody finally goes to sleep, and we get up the next morning, and there is a lavish breakfast spread in Ashley's suite, and everybody gets together. It's clear that there is an activity that is going on. They're supposed to be having a vajacial, or no, they're painting their
They're
vaginas,
painting
right?
their interpretations of their
Yeah,
flowers.
portraits, right? Now, they're not like taking their vaginas and putting them on the canvas and making paintings with them. They are
And
supposed to paint it. Of course, the Grand Dame is not up with painting a picture of her vagina.
and she's like, it could be a flower, it could be, abstract. And then Kara's like, oh, okay, all right, I get it. But like, yeah, I was low key mad the activity didn't happen, right? Like I was like, I wanted to see some of their interpretations. But Ashley also was talking about you could get a sheet and put it over your head and take a look if you like.
Yeah, they had
Ash,
mirrors. That
like
was he.
Ashley.
Yeah,
Uh,
but you know
but
what? You know who was down for it? Mia. Mia was like, "Give me that mirror." Look,
Mia was like, I can help anybody else if they like, I can tell them what I think. Yeah, that's why we love Mia. But
yes,
listen, the Grand Dame wasn't here for that. And she wanted to take this opportunity to say, like, last night we got to see your suite, Robyn. And we know that Ashley gave you that suite because you are been going through a lot of stuff. However, we as a sister, I love when they talk about this sisterhood, this group. And we all feel like you have not been honest with us. And, now is your time to share.
I didn't like this. I'll tell you this. Like, how many times do we have to talk about this? You know where this woman is at. She's going to defend her man to the end. That's it. I mean, they bring up the Coppin State and the Title
The Title
IX
Nine,
violation. Yeah.
and mind you, now I said that last season, right? Like I don't know. We don't know why actually Juan got fired. We know what Juan has told Robyn, and Juan has told Robyn that the second that he found out, he went to the university, he went to the people and did what he was supposed to do. Sure. That's like, if that's what they say happened, that's what they happen. However, what I was saying last season is that I've heard about like, me, I keep my ears to the Instagram streets. And before all of this stuff in the episode about the lady in the DMs, early before season 7 started, I was reading about this lawsuit about how this player was like, it wasn't anything new. Like it happened like a year and a half ago. So I was just interested, Wendy, bringing up the Title 7. Like, you as a professor, a teacher, you have a obligation, a duty to, you are a mandated reporter. And so I don't know. I would assume that Juan would follow all of the things that he needs to do. However, in light of the negative light that Juan is being perceived on this show and all the things wrapped into it, I'm sure Coppin State was like, we don't want any parts of this.
So while you were talking, I was having a little technical difficulties, but I was talking in the background the whole time like I do. And I think that he did, Robyn has defended her man. At this point in time, I'm with Robyn on this. Leave her alone. Please leave her alone. Whatever y'all say, she's going to defend her man. Okay? Robyn is the ride or die. She don't give a hell. She don't give a fuck what y'all saying. Y'all can STFU. Okay? She don't care. Leave it alone. And at this point in time, I do feel like the ladies are torturing her. They done had a side meeting, 3 side meetings, right? And I agree with her frustration. Leave her alone. She ain't going nowhere. Maybe her man did something wrong, but guess what? She ain't gonna say it, and she definitely ain't gonna say it on camera.
And why would she say it to this group of people that are casting stones at her? And again, I feel like y'all bringing up Title 7. That means it's like Title 9, y'all, you know what you're doing by using terminology like that, right? So that's just interesting. And then Candace, now, shout out to Candace, because of course Candace is like, when Robyn is saying, why would I share my truth with any of you women? I share my truth with the women that reach out to me, that call me, that like show me love. And so Candace says, well, you didn't respond to me when I text you. And we are assuming that when the news broke that Juan got fired is when Candace reached out to Robyn. And Robyn is like, why would I say anything to you? And so they go back and forth. But then, whew, Candace asks a great question. And listen, y'all, you know how I feel about my Candace. I'm on, I'm off, I'm on, I'm off. But Candace said, you had no interest, you had no willingness to read any of the messages that your husband and that lady were having just for your own knowledge of the story.
And she
And,
says very clearly, no. So that lets you know
but
it's
now, okay, now listen, now listen, now listen, now listen, now listen. This is where, you know, I love me my Robyn, but this is where I feel like her story has changed a little bit, right? Like, so she does say no, that she had no interest. And then she also says, well, Juan deletes his messages and regularly anyway, so they're not even there for me to see. You know, he's weird like that. He likes to scrub his phone. You know, he even has some coaches texting him. Well, I hope it's not the assistant coach that he getting his nails done with, texting him from numbers that aren't saved, and he doesn't even know who that is. Now, that is where I was like, okay, Robyn, so were the messages already deleted? Or did you have the opportunity to see them? Or has Juan just told you the story and that's what you go with? Now, because that's different. Now, that is different than what she has said. And that I can't get down with that. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I'm hearing what you're saying, but I am on to the next
I
because
mean, I'm not, well, I mean,
I am hashtag leave Robyn alone. That's what
so
I'm like.
but listen, I am leave Robyn alone as well. However, you know, to our fans in the comments, let's talk about we go in on Wendy. I'm just saying, right? Like, I love Robyn and I'm a ride for Robyn, like Robyn rides for Juan. But it is very different from you saying because Andy Cohen asked her this. Like, did you see the messages? And Robyn has said, no, I don't want to see them. I'm good. But I mean, here in this scene, it seems like the messages were deleted so she couldn't see them for herself anyway. And that is very different than you saying, I don't want to see them.
But the whole point is, she ain't gonna tell you. She don't care. And so why are we wasting our time on it? And
And
this is the part
I,
that kind of pisses me off, is because they waste all this time on this. They get no answers and ain't no vagina pains.
well, I mean, right. I wanted the vagina paintings. Also, I love how Karen then is like, well, you don't want to tell us, but we got to pay $5 for your paywall. They're talking about reasonably shady. And they're talking about how after the reunion aired, Robyn and Giselle, they on their Patreon talked about the rumors. And, you know, Bravo was very upset about that. And so they were very upset with reasonably shady. But again, listen, I ain't mad. Get your coins. But I'm just saying, Robyn, I love you, sis. But the story, it just changing a little bit. But again, you can physically see that Robyn is over it. She's like, "What do you want to do? Like, you know, I'm here. Take your shots at me."
No, she
And
says, you want to hold me accountable? Because that's what they keep saying. And like, leave. I mean, I'm still on the leave the damn lady alone. Okay, she ain't gonna give you what you want. She ain't gonna give you the information. She don't want you in her business. She here to have a good time. She clearly adds to the party. But I guess for her storyline, they have to bring this up every once in a while. So I feel bad for her,
like,
but
I mean, I feel bad as well. However, you know, the Grand Dame after last season, she like you know the Grand Dame was coming for her. So like I'm not surprised at Karen doing this, because it's like, yeah, she's going to keep doing this all season. But again, I just thought some information that, you know, she shared during that time was a little interesting to me, because again,
yeah. And so, like Ashley, I am ready to move on to the afternoon. Okay, because it wasn't no vagina paintings, it wasn't nothing. Y'all just messing with Robyn. I feel like they were kicking a dog when she was down. So they decide that they are going to split up for afternoon activities. So Ashley pulls out the cowboy hat, and they have the different activities in the hat. They pass them around. Half of them are going boot shopping, and half of them are going to distillery, not winery, not brewery. And so I thought that what was really nice is that Candace is actually being nice and switches with Robyn, so that Robyn and Giselle can both get boots. I thought that was a
Or
cute
so
little
it's
moment.
that Candace does not have to film a scene with Rob with Giselle. And like so no, that was a quick pro quo. That was mutually beneficial for both of them.
So we have going to get the boots. We have Giselle, we have Robyn, we have Ashley and Nneka. And so they get all cowboyed out. This is when everybody is in their cowboy outfits, actually. Lots of denim. Wendy is wearing leather, a very cute leather outfit, I may add. And they're off to the boot joint. And then
Right.
come to find out, the best place about the boot joint, I have to say by far, is that it had a full bar. Like, I was like, hello. Yes, boots, boots and bars,
Get me
bars
get
and
me
boots.
liquor so I
The
could
boot
buy
bar,
some boots. Right.
right? So
And then after the boots and after the distillery, each of the groups had their own little lunch before they meet back up, right? And so this is where a lot of the meat and potatoes of the episode happen at these separate lunches before they come back for another lunch.
yes, I thought that was interesting that they were lunching before the lunch, but I think they were might have been just drinking.
True.
Anyway, so they go, and at the distillery, Karen declines a drink, which I wrote down in my little notes, right? She does not have a drink. And so Candace and Mia, I think, have drinks. I think only two of them have drinks. So
Yeah.
I thought that was very interesting. I think Wendy did not have a drink. I think it was Candace and Mia who had the drink.
Well,
Of the
Mia didn't have a
100.
drink at the distillery because Mia's not drinking liquor.
Oh, was that
So
it? Okay, so it was Wendy and Candace. So they have drinks of the 150 proof. I think it's gin or whiskey, one of those. It was all very cute. And then they sit down at the table to have a little conversation before they leave. And what I thought was the funniest part of the whole episode was they start talking about the shrines, and then a crow lands behind them and makes a sound. And Mia's like, "Oh,
is
Wendy,
that your
is that your
mama?
mom?"
And so listen, right? I thought that was hilarious. And
Me
I
too.
thought in that moment, I felt like Wendy could just be like, just don't play with my mama, but that's funny, right? And
Yes.
also, I feel like Mia is entitled to have a joke like that because Wendy, your mama was just cursing me on Instagram. So it's like, but
To the depths of hell, honey. To the depths of
okay,
hell.
through the
Right.
storm, through the fire.
Yeah, she was like, it was like an R&B song about somebody who stole your man band. Okay.
Mm,
So I thought it was hilarious. Had Giselle and Robin been there, they'd have died laughing. Okay. Was
absolutely.
dying.
But
But instead, Wendy is like, no, don't talk about my mom. And she said that very curtly, and Mia received it. And she took it well because she know that was a low blow. I think she was trying to be funny and make
right.
light of the situation, but it was one of those moments where it was like too soon, huh? And yes, it was. It was too soon. And that
And
gets Wendy to talking and opening up. And what do you feel about how she addressed that and where she went from there?
I feel like I'm with her. Don't talk about my mom. Like it's a very sensitive thing. She was a single mother. She sacrificed so that her kids could have. And Wendy gets emotional. So I agree. Like I feel Wendy. I also do feel like little convenient time for the tears a tad bit.
I think she should have pulled out these tears when she would, instead of saying the crackhead comment. What I think she could have put a lot of this to bed by saying, look, this is my mom. I'm trying to defend her. I don't really know. She could have pulled this out a lot earlier and been like, look, y'all, this is my mom. I don't care what she do. I'm going to defend her. That's what she should have said.
And another thing that Wendy says, she then talks about the Nigerian culture and with shrines and how they do exist, but they don't exist in the way that people like think that they exist. And
She didn't do a good job explaining.
when you bring them up in a context like how Nneka brings up, it kind of negatively puts a spin on it that has people thinking other things. And so I was like, oh, okay, like I get that. But are you now confirming what Nneka said was true?
So this is the thing that she kind of conflates. she tries to say like, oh, Catholicism has shrines, blah 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 blah. Yeah, they do, but you know that ain't what we talk about, girl. And then she tried to be like, no, my mom would never talk about a Nigerian shrine because she's a strong Catholic Christian woman, blah 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 blah. Girl, you know exactly what your mama was talking about. So I don't know why she continues to try to defend this, because the way that they were talking about submitting names to shrines is not the Catholic way. You know what I'm saying? Like, not the way Catholicism uses shrine. You can't even, I never heard of submitting your name to a Catholic shrine. So I think she's still trying to conflate the issue and backpedal. And all she needs to say is like, I don't know what my mom did. You know, I'm sure she was trying to protect me, whatever. I can't speak for her, but I'm gonna defend my mom to the day I die. She died.
And
She
right,
died.
and
The earth stopped existing.
we would be
That's it.
able to get behind that, right? Like we would be able to like move and shake with that. But again, I just feel like she is trying to deflect and dodge and move. And again, I just felt like her even bringing up shrines and Catholicism is like, well, so
Yeah,
are
that's
you
what she's
admitting
trying to
that?
deflect. All she needs to say is that's my mama and shut up. That's it.
Yeah.
Just like the same way that Robyn's like, that's my husband. I ride for him. I don't care what nobody got to say. That should be your stance. So I just thought, okay, I'm glad she's talking about her feelings now, but she just needs to dead it by just saying, look, I don't want to talk about my mom any longer.
So at the boot
The
cocktail
boot bar.
table, they're talking about Nneka's wedding and how like she had a very fast courtship and she felt like she didn't really get a chance to have the wedding that she wanted. And I was like, ooh, is this foreshadowing? Is the last episode going to be Nneka's like American wedding with all of the friends? I was like, oh,
Well, she
okay.
also says she has the Nigerian wedding, but the Nigerian wedding is definitely going to be in Nigeria, which on her family's compound, which I was like, go on flex, girl, her
Mm.
family compound, and how her husband is titled. Loved that.
Some people can pay
And they
for a
actually,
title. Some people are born into titleship. Okay.
right. So this is very interesting because they start to talk about this when they all get back together at lunch, about the Nigerian wedding and the compound. And I wonder how many homes are on the compound. I bet you it's more than four. So Nneka is in the four home club. So I just point that out. And she's titled. And it's funny to me because as I see Nneka talking about the titles and Nigerian culture, I just feel Wendy fuming in the background. She ain't say nothing. But I just feel like her fumes and anger coming off of her. Like, I don't know. I want to be like, oh, Wendy, is your husband title? But like I'm waiting for somebody to say that because I just feel like the reaction shot would just be amazing. So yeah, I think that would be very interesting. And I also thought it was interesting when Nneka was explaining it, how she's like, yeah, some people are giving, but nowadays you can buy it.
And
Buying a
they're like
title.
buying it. And Robyn and Wendy jump in like, yes, Karen, like how you and Mia bought your blue checks. And when Karen, like, blue check, I ain't buy no blue check. They gave it to me. And they like, no, after a while, like they ended all of the blue checks. And now you had to like buy, oh, I ain't buying it. I ain't buy it. Then they show her phone. They was like, well, Karen, look. Karen's like, look, you are a verified member by
Of Twitter Blue.
subscribing to Twitter Blue. Cameron's like, what in hell? Then they pull up her iTunes purchases and they like, shit, how'd that get in there? How'd that get in there?
When my kids
Listen,
put that on my phone, look, she sound like an old senior citizen who'd be like, "Oh, this, I didn't do this." Sound like something my parents would say. Be like, "I don't know how this happened," but it is very clear that her and Mia bought themselves blue checks. I think it is hilarious.
listen, some of the features of the blue checks on Twitter, like you can edit your tweets. I mean, listen, I think that that's worth it alone. But I'm good for paying on blue checks.
Hmm.
However,
Let me
shout
see if
out.
I can pay for me a blue check. Look, if y'all see me next week with a blue check. Y'all know what happened. No shame,
Child,
no in it. Okay.
you can purchase them on Instagram. You can purchase them on Twitter.
How much it cost
Uh,
on Instagram?
I
Look.
have no idea. I was blessed enough to actually have a blue check, but that was before you could purchase them. And Instagram, blessed me with one, so I'm
Look,
appreciative of it.
I might invest in a blue checky check.
Listen,
So
I will forward you to the grand dame, and she could show you
you
the
can tell
way.
me where to sign up.
Yes. Now
I ain't mad
listen,
at it, girl. Look, you got a business. Go on, blue check yourself, honey.
you gotta do what you gotta do. But listen, the MVP of the episode, in my opinion, is Miss Mia. So now we after the lunch of the lunch, then we get together for another lunch, and after the blue check talks about now, Mia is like, well, Candace, girl, what's going on with that lawsuit with you and Michael Darby?
Love it. She gonna bring it up, okay? She is gonna bring it up.
Or
And Candace, and true Candace,
mm,
she was doing so well up until then. She was doing
mm,
so well, reaching out to NECA, but honey, this set her off. And she's like,
mm.
I'm not gonna talk about it. It's an ongoing legal matter, which honestly, she should say it's an ongoing legal matter and she shouldn't talk about it. But why did she have to throw Robyn under the bus, though? That's what I was like, girl, again, you asked, and look, this is why Robyn don't ain't friends with you, honey. This is why you probably look. Robyn should have went back in time and took them damn slippers back and be like, take your corn bunion ass having feet down the hall and leave me alone because I'm a fraud and you're bringing up my business. Okay,
But listen, right? Like, I don't agree with Candace, but if you want to deflect, if you like,
that's the way to
that
do it,
is,
girl.
she needs to teach a class one-on-one on how to do it, because she need to help her friend Wendy out, because she was like, you spoke on Juan's situation that I don't think was very helpful, and it's probably the reason he lost his job. I said, oh, Candace, not you, Rhea. I, mm.
I was
Now,
like, whoa, Candace is
now,
because that was unnecessary. But look, that is how you deflect. You give the people something juicier to talk about, right?
and
So, oh my God,
Robyn's like, no, that's not what happened, blah, 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 blah. And then that's when, of course, who jumps in because they need deflection too? Wendy. Well, the Title IX, that's not what it's you know what I mean? And so now they are
like she a
again.
Title IX expert. I'm like, Wendy, go somewhere. Like, yeah, she is not helping the friend out. I don't know why she had to decided that she wanted to deflect now. Like, you had your chance, boo-boo. So I don't know why she decided that this was the time that she wanted to jump in. I don't know. It was crazy. And Robyn didn't jump in on her. So I don't understand why she decided that she needed to do that. I don't understand that.
So that topic gets discussed, and then the dinner is over, and then we're back in our separate cars, and we notice that it's Candace and Robyn sitting in the back seat. And I think while we're in the car with Mia and Wendy, I think Mia notices it, and she's like, see, I love the fact that y'all can sit together and talk. And I forget what Candace says something to Robyn, and Robyn is like, miss me with all of this. And she was like, this is the worst part about us not being friends, is that you would go that low. And again, Candace is like, what are you talking about? And we don't really see Robyn break down, right? Robyn is a very strong person of the season. She's very we don't see a lot of tears of Robyn amongst people that she's not comfortable with. And we begin to see this breakdown of Robyn saying, y'all are turning me into a villain. Y'all are beating me down every chance that you can get. And whether you believe you're right, whether you believe you're wrong, I'm a person. How much more can I bear?
Again, hashtag leave Robyn alone. I mean, this has been hashed all the way out. Y'all are supposed to be her friends. And now it's not even checking on her. It's like, oh, now my pain is just something to get the heat off of you. It went too far. And I was very not happy with Candace for this. She was doing so well this episode and reaching out and doing these things. And yeah, we missed the whole activity talking about this. You
You
know,
just wanted them to paint those flowers.
I mean, really, like, because it is basically taking over the friend group. I do believe, this is actually one of the comments. It's like, we got 8 people on this show, and like, you only talk about, 2 topics all the time and continue to bring them up.
Well, have they never seen a Bravo show before? That's how the Bravo show goes, right? Like, so it's like this is not. It's like Beverly Hills. Them not talking about Kyle and Mauricio breaking up. Like, that's the whole thing. But again, my one thing about Robyn and Candace is, though, although Candace believes that Giselle manufactured. Oh, that was another thing that we said. Last thing was like all Candace and Chris had to do was acknowledge, like, hey, if I made you uncomfortable, like, I'm sorry, like, and I felt like that could have been somebody in the comment was like, really, that's all you think would have been done or should have been done? Yes. Like, what I mean by that is it would have not been drug out this whole season if they would have deaded it instead of Candace making it, like, if they could have,
Bigger
like,
than it
anyway,
needed to
but
be, perpetuating
right.
it. Right. So
So
I agree. When you hold the line, but yeah, they continue to bring this up, and I think it is part of they don't want their storylines to be dug into. So they're giving, again, deflection 101. We could be talking about why Candace can't handle babies. I ain't had no babies yet. We could be talking about, what's going on with Giselle's relationship, but y'all not feeding the sharks the chum. What y'all chumming
we could
up
be talking
is
about Wendy's candles. We could be talking about Wendy's candles. Like,
Oh, I'm so glad we're not talking about the candles. But like, that's the thing. So I just didn't like it. I didn't like the way the episode ended. I agree with you that Robyn is strong. Robyn is a nice, solid character. She's fun, she so I just want them to leave her alone. I'm on that. Like, and I wasn't on that until this episode. Like, I thought she did a great job of deflecting, but it has to be a lot because she never tells people to don't talk about me or STFU, or when they want to have a whole meeting about her, she shows up. She has shown up all this time. Now, okay, fine. Leave the lady alone to live her damn life.
And it's like she has to show up for this. We can only imagine what she has to show up for at home, or like how she's like, you know what I mean? I just think it's a lot. And my last point is that last season when Candace was going through a lot of this stuff, Candace feels like, again, Giselle made this story up to deflect from Robyn. And I just feel like I had never once did I really see Robyn dogpile on Candace. I always saw Robyn coming to her defense, disagreeing with Giselle. And like, so that's where for me, it's like I just kind of get confused. But again, like, you don't want to talk about this lawsuit with Michael Darby. That's something that's happening in your life. You want people to give you grace about that. And so, but yet you can't understand that during the time that Robyn is finding out all this stuff, that she's not going to run to the girl group and say, hey, this is what's going on. The fact that like people can't understand that, like, I get it's a TV show. I understand it, but I just feel like it's
look, point blank, you ain't gonna be borrowing no more slippers no time soon, heifer, because you done got lost your slipper privileges. So
your slipper privileges are revoked.
So yeah, I mean, so that wraps it up. We end on Robyn breaking down, and that sets us up to see what the resolution is for next week. And I really hope that it's the women coming to Robyn and supporting her as much as they confront her.
Well, listen, we will have to tune in next Sunday night to see what happens. And Jatia and I will be back next week to break it all down. So excited to see what y'all got to say in the comments, because we do love reading them. But this has been your Purple Pants Podcast, Real Housewives of Potomac recap, season 8, episode 6. See you later.
See you, Purple Pants Posse.